Hello, I am Mantastic and Fantastic, and today I'm going to be talking about basically the hottest topic right now in Puzzle and Dragons, Monster Point cards. So, during the course of March, we'll actually be receiving 390,000 Monster Points, and this is delivered over the course of the month in separate batches, and they're done through your mailbox, so you will never actually cap without actually opening them, so that is something nice. But what I like to do today is basically talk and discuss about my own monster point situation and basically what I'm going to do with all these monster points, because while I did write a very helpful tier list and guide, some people may want a practical example or explanation or rationale as to what they should do with it. So what I want to say first and foremost is that these are obviously my own opinions, and these are the decisions that are going to be benefiting myself the most moving forward. They may not necessarily be helping you, so obviously take my decisions with a grain of salt. What I hope you take from this video is understanding my thought process behind it to help you make a better decision for yourself. So, my purchase history. So basically when I was first playing Pad a long time ago, of course, I was only ranked 493, and I actually purchased Yomi Dragon back when she first came out, mostly because she was actually very powerful, had gentle team building requirements, as well as being a very flexible card in that you could actually use it on many dark teams, basically Awoken Lucifer most notably. So I actually bought Yomi Dragon on both of my accounts, and it served me very well because at the time she was basically at the top of tier list. She could clear content quickly, efficiently, and later on she transitioned into a wonderful like Awoken Lucifer sub where pretty much any dark team can actually benefit from her just because she has the bind immunity, recover bind, and relatively helpful active skill. So she obviously has waxed and waned over the course of time, and right now with her new evolution she's actually been propelled significantly higher up because not only can she quickly clear and farm content, but she also can tackle endgame dungeons with somewhat ease in the sense that she only needs to match one combo of 5 Dark Orbs and you tend to deal more than enough damage to sweep most floors. So I did play a round of Yomi Dragon when she just got her new evolution, basically right at midnight pretty much, and she is able to achieve an 81 times attack, 4 times recovery team with only one combo. So it actually led to a 12-minute Arena 1 clear in co-op. Now in solo mode it would go faster, mostly because you skip the whole passing turn animations. However, because I have 2 accounts, it's just more time efficient for myself to simply co-op with myself, as well as saving half the stamina. But not everyone is always going to be that smooth. I managed to avoid most of the dangerous spawns. I feel like I could maybe shave off 1 to maybe 2 minutes if I got even better spawns or maybe played better. But the point of the matter is, I don't think I ever had a run take more than 18, 19 minutes. Like I've had several other runs with less than ideal spawns, and they all were around the 17-minute mark. So you can clear Arena 1 very safe and very consistently and fast, and that is important. And while some people may argue that having a way to clear Arena 1 may not feel like the best use of 300,000 monster points, you have to bear in mind that you're clearing Arena 1 with great consistency and with great efficiency. Because if you're a lower ranking player, you could basically play 1 or 2 arena clears and you will rank up. And that's huge because that way you can basically time your rank ups more adequately. You can farm up dungeons in between with all that excess stamina, and you can just keep playing all you want. You'll have all the skills you need moving forward, and it's actually a very sound investment. Furthermore, based on the fact that Yomi Dragon has the potential to clear higher end content such as Arena 3, which I'll get to hopefully this weekend or early next week, like she does have the capacity, I feel, if I tweak my team around to bring a bit more damage mitigation and more delays. And in all honesty, Yomi Dragon is a great purchase because while she is lower on my tier list than Raw Dragon and Dark Athena, she has a lot of well-rounded usage, and the only time I would really recommend someone does not purchase Yomi Dragon is if they have the potential to make a reasonable Dark Athena team, just because Dark Athena is a better leader overall. Now, let's come to my current Monster Point situation, because that's kind of quote-unquote in the past, because I bought that a year's time ago. So, as I already mentioned, Yomi Dragon was my first and only Monster Point purchase at this point in time, and I've basically been saving and hoarding ever since. I was partially waiting for either A, more cards to be released to see if I had a better fit somewhere else, or B, pulling more appropriate cards for, say, Raw Dragon. And presently speaking, I still have no Dark Callies and no Canna, so there's really no hope in actually playing Raw Dragon for myself at this point in time. And at the moment, both of my accounts are above 840,000 monster points. So I do have a lot of monster points to play around with. Yes, Dark Athena is 750,000, but this 850-odd thousand monster points is not taking into consideration the 390 we're getting for free, as well as probably about 50+ thousand monster points in just challenge or ranking dungeon rewards that I've just simply not opened at this point in time. So I could easily purchase one monster point card and have more than enough for Dark Athena still. So in all honesty, Dark Athena is my main priority. I want to purchase Dark Athena as soon as she becomes available. I'll invest in her right away and use her from day one. And I feel like that's probably going to be the safest and most logical purchase for most people, provided you are able to actually benefit from her and you have reasonable subs to support her. Now, I do not really foresee Gung Ho not releasing Dark Athena to North America, just because it really makes no financial sense, because they are a company, and to a certain extent companies need to appease their stockholders and basically break even on a consistent basis, as well as going more into the green if possible, or black. And releasing Dark Athena will cause tons of players to liquidate their monster box, roll vigorously in Godfest for more monster points, and it really just does not make sense not to bring her. Yes, Gung Ho North America has not necessarily addressed it head on, but they tend to under-promise, over-deliver. They don't want to give you a possible release date and then disappoint you. They'd rather just keep you in the dark. That just seems to be their philosophy. So I strongly believe Dark Athena will be released, and like I said, if you have a team or box that can support her, you should probably purchase her first if you can't field the perfect Raw Dragon team. So now, with Dark Athena being the logical choice, what do I purchase after Dark Athena? It doesn't seem like Gung Ho is necessarily releasing a bunch more monster point cards, as well as the fact that I have the potential to really farm monster points back whenever I want. Like, I have 2 accounts, I can gloriously button my way through any content I wish. I do have a modest amount of time and patience, so I could easily recuperate another purchase after another one, like Dark Athena plus one more, and I could probably get another 300,000 if they release something by the time it comes out. So, like I already mentioned before, I'm not able to efficiently run Raw Dragon because I'm basically missing the Dark Callies and Canna, so it's a pointless venture. So I need to basically try and determine what it's going to be, what I could benefit me the most, as well as choosing something that kind of aligns with my values moving forward. So when I do acquire Dark Athena, I will have basically another endgame team, as she basically joins the ranks of my Miru, my Mary, and probably Yomi Dragon as well. I feel like Yomi Dragon cleared lots of endgame content. So I really don't have any need to add Odin Dragon into my roster, because his viability compared to the other 4 I just mentioned is really lower than all of them, so he's not adding anything new to my box. He's a cool bind clear, he might work for some players, but for myself, he's not actually adding any value to my monster box. Maybe in the future that will change, but right now it's just adding no value. Conversely, Neptune Dragon basically has no interest for me whatsoever. Like, Mary is an infinitely stronger leader in pretty much every aspect. She's less orb hungry, hits harder, like, just better every way possible. And he's basically kind of cumbersome. He's just like a clunky Krishna that's very orb hungry. And Ragnarok Dragon really doesn't fit anywhere well for me. Yes, I did pull a Ronave on both of my accounts in the last Godfest, but again, with no Kaedes or even Razul, it's just not a team that's viable to run compared to the other 4 I just mentioned beforehand, so no Ragnarok Dragon for me. In addition, all the 4 gentlemen are quite unappetizing at this point. They badly need a new buff or an evolution, and that could be something I purchase in the future if they have at least any sort of viability at that point in time. So that leaves me with Shiva Dragon. Now, Shiva Dragon is essentially one of the fastest teams available for longer content, and even though I do have Yomi Dragon for Arena 1, Shiva Dragon should in theory be a bit faster. Mostly this is because of the fact that they require only 4 and not 5 orbs for activation. In theory, you only need 3 orbs for Shiva Dragon, but with a single TPA, you can pretty much burst through almost anything except for the Kali. So There's great potential for lots of speed, and in addition, Yomi Dragon does have a bit of clumsiness in that one of those orbs have to be enhanced. That becomes problematic after, say, Beelzebub, or all your Dark Orbs are taken away and use an Orb Changer, and if it's not enhanced from, say, Akachi, you're going to have a bad time. So, Shiva Dragon should definitely be faster in theory, and that is obviously appetizing, just because, well, who doesn't want to play content faster? But the main reason why I really want to get Shiva Dragon is more so to hopefully acquire more crowns in future ranking dungeons. So, a little bit of backstory for Shiva Dragon. They basically dominated the ranking dungeon scene when it first came out, mostly because they were unconditional, they could match a single combo and just blitz through a dungeon incredibly quick. And in all honesty, I kind of regret not buying Shiva Dragon when it came out, just because I really feel like I could have had several more crowns at this point in time, because I would consistently place in like 2% or so. And it's because I'm using very unoptimal teams, and if I had a better team, I'm pretty sure I could have pushed higher. And it's something that I never could get back, unfortunately. Like, you can obviously acquire more crowns moving forward, but you're never going to have as many crowns as people who have basically scored 1% every single time. So I feel like if I purchase Shiva Dragon now, I do have a chance to at least kind of re-catch up, as well as saving a lot of magic stones on refills, because in theory, if the team is more desirable, it requires less stamina refills to get the more ideal run to safely crown. Now, with his new evolution, he jumps from 29 to 39 times attack, which is huge, but he also gains a third TPA. So basically, the 2 Shiva Dragons and even just some subs is going to do more than enough damage to pound their way through a ranking dungeon. So he naturally is at most at home in ranking dungeons that have 10 or so floors, basically the longer ranking dungeons, just because at that point, time is the most important aspect to have. So I strongly feel that with all those longer ranking dungeons still to be released, I'll be well positioned with a Shiva Dragon moving forward. So this, I feel, is justifiable because I don't really foresee my rare machine rolling luck necessarily improving so much that I roll 2 Dark Callies and a Canna on either account. Like, it's just not really going to happen, I feel. So there's no point just holding out in the hope that I get that through Raw Dragon. And like I said, I still would probably have enough to buy Dark Athena, Shiva Dragon, and probably have something else lying around afterwards. So I do have the capacity to at least buy one more Monster Point Dragon, maybe in a month or 2 times from now. And again, nothing new is going to be released in that time period, so I feel like I'm relatively safe. And crowns at this point in time are probably one of the more exciting things for me, because I can clear any content I want in the game. I can farm basically every dungeon, like Colosseum. I can beat with reasonably high consistency. So there's nothing really new per se for me that I need to beat, more so just beat it with new leaders. So perhaps like watering my ego flower a bit more of crowns is the way to go. Again, this is mostly for myself, it may not necessarily apply to everyone else out there. So basically, after writing all of this, I decided to basically pull the trigger and purchase Shiva Dragon, mostly because it will give me more box space because of all those evolution materials getting condensed and used up, the Tamadras, the peas, pies, however you want to call them, as well as being adequately prepared for when they are released sometime next week. Now, while an appropriate ranking dungeon may not necessarily appear when Shiva Dragon is released, it's better to have it ready to use immediately instead of scrambling and panicking last minute. In addition, I don't want to necessarily have Shiva Dragon rotate out and therefore not be able to purchase and then be kind of worried that I might miss a ranking dungeon that I could have crowned more easily. So it's better to obviously buy something you can make use of it right away and use it now, because you can take advantage of them presently before power creeps start sinking in and they become pushed out of relevancy. So that's why I just purchased on Mantastic. I quickly evolved it, I'll plus it, level it up, and so on and so forth. And basically to showcase, as I said here, I'm going to do the same thing on Mantastic as well. So I'm going to purchase Shiva Dragon on Mantastic. Please never purchase Tamadras or evolution materials. So here comes Shiva Dragon. Yes. And yes. Gonna evolve that Shiva Dragon. Gonna favorite it. Gonna evolve him, and boom, I just saved myself a bit of box space. So I will basically level him up, plus amount, Tamadra him up, just give him all the love and attention he truly deserves. And in addition, Shiva Dragon does have some of the best artwork in my opinion. Like, not this evolution, but his future evolution just looks incredible, and like he definitely puts the dragons back into puzzling dragons. So basically, let me know what you plan to purchase with your monster points, and what is your thought process and/or justification behind it. Basically, how do you rationalize what you want to purchase or pursue? Let me know in the comments below. Hopefully, you all have a fantastic day and happy puzzling.